We continue now at the top of Daf Lamed Zayin Amid Beis and Mesechet Nedarim. This is Nedarim Daf 37b. The Brisa continues that if you hired someone to do something on Shabbos, you can't pay him for work on Shabbos, and therefore if it was lost, Eino Chayiv B'Achrayus, he's not Chayiv and Achrayus. It means to say he's not being hired for the work on Shabbos. He's not a Shomer Sacher. He's just a Shomer Chinam, so he's not Chayiv for Aveda. He's not Chayiv if it gets lost. However, the Brisa continues, Vim Hoya S'chir Shabbos, S'chir Chodesh, S'chir Shana, S'chir Shavua. Let's say the person was hired for a longer period of time. He was hired for the week or the month or the year or for the Shemitah cycle. So in that case, he can even be paid for the work he does on Shabbos because, again, like we said on the previous Amud, that's considered Havlah. The payment is absorbed over the longer contract. So no sein lo schar Shabbos. Then you can give him payment for the work that's done on Shabbos. Lefikach, therefore, imavdu, if it gets lost, chayiv b'achrayus, and he's going to be chayiv, he'll be responsible because he's like a shomer sacher. In any case, the Gemara has shown there's a concept of Havlah. So then why is it when you hire a person to teach the child, even if it's the first time, even if he's even if he's teaching the cantillation notes and there would be schar for that, that should be fine on Shabbos? Why did we say on the previous Amud that there would be a problem in that situation? And so the Gemara answers, Ella rather gabe Shabbos hainu taima. The reason by Shabbos is as follows: the ein koren betchila. The reason why they're not allowed to learn psukim for the first time. Again, we made that distinction on the previous Amud. The reason why they're not allowed to learn for the first time, but they're allowed to review. Mishum the yifnu avasam the yenuke the mitzvah de Shabbos. It's in order that the fathers of the children should have some free time in order to fulfill the mitzvahs of Shabbos. In other words, the reason why the children shouldn't learn something that is totally new on Shabbos really is because it is more difficult to teach that to the children, and then the fathers won't have the appropriate amount of free time to celebrate Shabbos. The Mefarish over here explains the yifnu avasam the yenuke the mitzvah de lahon shemhayu asukin lahakrosim betchila b'davar chadash. If the fathers are going to teach the children something new, hayu truden behen, it's going to be a burden. V'lo hayu penuyin lemitzvah Shabbos lisanig bo, they're not going to be available in order to celebrate Shabbos properly. Aval shonen, but to review is fine. Hawalach var lamdu lo mitradi behu, because since it's something they've already learned, so therefore it's not such a burden to teach that to the child, and that is going to be okay. And the Gemara continues, same if you want, I could say another answer, Mishum de v'shabsa achlin v'shasin v'yakar alein homa, because on Shabbos people eat and they drink and the world is heavy upon them, and therefore it's difficult to learn something that is new. The Mefarish over here explains, v'yakar lu'alma shekavet aleim lilmod v'mnei hamaychol. It's difficult to learn because of all the food. Ulahachi in korim b'tchila b'Shabbos d'mitzarlu. That's why we don't learn something with them for the first time. That's already a pain to learn something in that fashion. Kida Amar Shmuel, the Gemara says it's like Shmuel says, Shinoi vest techilas chole me'am. When a person changes their routine, that is the beginning of an intestinal illness. In other words, the point is also on Shabbos the routine of eating is changed, and therefore that causes difficulties, and it would be difficult to learn something for the first time in that situation. And the Gemara continues, Ulamando Amar Schar Pisuk Taimim, the one who says that when you teach Mikra, you get paid for teaching the punctuation of the cantillation notes. So my time Alo Amar Schar Shimar, why not say that you're getting paid for watching the children? And the Gemara answers to that, Kasavar, because that one holds Bonos Mikabayon Shimur. Let's say you're teaching daughters. Let's say you're teaching girls the psukim. So do they need to be watched? They don't need to be watched, and still you get payment for that. So you see that the payment is not for watching the children. The Mefarish over here explains Bonos Shemalamdeno San Torah. When it comes to teaching the daughters Torah, Mi Bayon Shimur, do you need to watch the daughters? Inu Lavor Chayu Lemefach Avroy. It's not the way of daughters to go leave. Techsiv Kol Kavod Bas Melech Panim. It says they stay inside. So it can't be that you're getting paid for watching them. They don't need to be watched, and therefore it must be that the payment is for the schar pisuk taimim. And the Gemara continues, Ulaman Damar Schar Shimur, the one who says that you're getting paid for watching the children, my time alo Amar Schar Pisuk Taimim. Why not say that the payment is for teaching them, again, the cantillation notes? And the Gemara answers, Kasavar, that Man Damar holds Pisuk Taimim do Raisu, that even the Pisuk Taimim, that's also do Raisa, and therefore it would be a problem to pay for that, just like it's a problem teaching them the Psukim itself, to pay them for teaching the Psukim itself. The Amar Ravika Barav and Amar Rav Chananel Amar Rav, because Ravika Baravin said that Rav Chananel said that Rav said, what does the pasuk mean when it says Vayikaru b'sefer Torah Elokim meforish v'som seichel v'yavinu b'mikra? What does that pasuk mean? It means as follows: Vayikaru b'sefer Torah Elokim zeh mikra. When it says they read from the Torah, that refers to the psukim themselves. Meforish zeh targum. When it says they read meforish, that refers to the targum, the translation. V'som seichel. When the pasuk says v'som seichel elu hapsukim, that refers to knowing when each pasuk ends and when the next pasuk begins. V'yavinu b'mikra. And when it says in the pasuk v'yavinu b'mikra zeh pisuk taimim. That refers to the punctuation of the cantillation notes, and therefore you see that is a doraisa. V'amrila, and there are those that say elo hamisoros. When it says v'yavinu b'mikra, it refers to the traditions. That's the traditions of how to vocalize the text. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Yitzchak says, Mikra sofrim v'itor sofrim v'kiryan v'lo ksivan, uchsivan v'lo kiryan, Mikra sofrim and itor sofrim, and things that are read and not written, things that are written and not read, all of those are halacha l'Moshe miSinai. They are all halacha l'Moshe miSinai. And the Gemara now explains each item. In Mikra Sofrim, what does it mean, Mikra Sofrim? It's like Eretz, Shamayim, Mitzrayim. The word Eretz, if it's at the end of a pasuk, becomes Oretz. The word Shamayim at the end of a pasuk becomes Shamoyim. The word Mitzrayim becomes Mitzroyim. Those are all Mikra Sofrim. They're all halacha l'Moshe miSinai. And the Gemara continues, Itor Sofrim. What is Itor Sofrim? Examples of that are Achar Ta'avoru, Achar Telech, Achar Te'osef, Kid Musharim, Achar Nognim, Tzidkoscha Kahar Rayel. We'll take a look at the Ran over here. The Ran says, Itor Sofrim, Achar Tavoru, Achar Teilechu, Achar Teyosef, Kid Musharim, Achar Nognim, Kol Hani Achar Miyusarin Hein. According to the Ran, the word Achar and all of these psukim are extra. Ve'ein on elo l'tiferes halashon. They're all for the beautification of the language. They're not really necessary in the psukim. T'havalei l'michtav sa'adu libchem v'tavoru, tisager shivas yavim v'teyosef, Kid Musharim Nognim, ela shenichtavu l'tiferes halashon. In all of these cases, it was just written for the beautification of the language, and therefore these are all examples of Itor Sofrim. Again, that is halacha l'Moshe miSinai. And the Gemara continues, Kiryan v'lo ksivan. What's examples of words in psukim that are read but not written? And the Gemara gives a number of examples. Pras de belechto, ish de kasher yishal ish bidvarhu elokim. The word pras in the pasuk of belechto, that's a pasuk in Shmuel Beis. Also the word ish in kasher yishal ish bidvarhu elokim, also in Shmuel Beis. Boim de nivnasa, the word boim, a pasuk in Yirmiyahu. Law de pleta, that's a pasuk also in Yirmiyahu. The word law in the pasuk which refers to pleta. Ace de hugad, the word ace in the pasuk of hugad, that is a pasuk in Rus. Eli de hagoren, the word Eli in the pasuk of Hagoren, that also is referring to a pasuk in Rus. Eli de Hasaorim, the word Eli in the pasuk of Hasaorim, also a pasuk in Rus. Halein kiryon v'lo ksivan. These are all examples of words in psukim that are read, but they are not written. Uchsivan v'lo kiryon. What about examples where it's written and not read? Na de Yislach, the pasuk na, in the word na rather in the pasuk of Yislach, that is a pasuk in Malachim, and we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Lamed Ches Amud Aleph.